Okay, so I've basically tied up what I refer to as all of the loose ends before we can get to the part that is the whole point of this build, and that was to make modifications to it. Well, there were a few issues. I've addressed all of the issues. The biggest one, of course, right off the bat was that these tires were, they're two different sizes. So I had to make a drop mount for the front. It's fairly level. The front's a little bit higher, but that's really not going to hurt anything. I added a mount over here so we have an extra point to tie it down more securely. This is just in here temporarily. It's going to actually be a bolt. Just like back here, these were pins. It's going to be bolted on now. I didn't make it 100% permanent, but it's not going to be as easy to take this apart because that's not really the point anymore. Now we just want this long cart. So I want it to be a little sturdier. Because one of the other issues, as he did say, is when you're wheeling it, there would be a lot of rattling noise, and I think it's just because you have all these little things, so many of them rattling, so this will help minimize that, make it a little bit quieter as he's going into his hunting spot. We want to minimize noise. And as well as mounting the lower drop axle mounts here, I went through and, as I said, drilled just tons of holes. I pretty much just cleaned up any holes that were there. Because one thing I wanted to be able to do is in the event we get the bigger tires, now we have an axle bolt hole for the larger tires. So pretty much got each angle covered. So now we finally are getting to the fun parts of this project, which is, like I said, is all the modifications. Let me swing the camera over to here, show you the first order of business, which is the whole key to this entire project, the push handle for the push cart. What I'm going to do is it's going to be at a 22.5 degree angle. It appears like that will work out just fine because, as I mentioned before, this has to fit into a 6-foot pickup bed, and I kind of have the angle at whatever length, and I have a mark over here so I kind of know. I think that's going to work. Hopefully that'll be just fine. I'm going to put this in the bed of my truck to verify when I get ready, once I start bending it. But what I just wanted to point out, that's a little bit important, or could be significant to somebody, is what I'm going to do is you could just cut this right off at the angle you want, then weld on your piece and you're good to go. What I'm going to do is notch though, and then bend the steel up. Then that gives me a perfectly smooth corner down here. And of course, that means I'm doing everything the hardest way possible. But hey, what other way is there to do it? So what I wanted to point out is when you do this, it's not so obvious. You don't just cut a line down to the, but not go through the back wall, and then cut an angle right up to that point. What you end up having to do, this is where the trick is involved, is you have to come over with your cut. There'll be a pretty decent gap here, possibly about 1/8 of an inch over, which it won't look right. You'll think, oh gosh, I went too far, but then when you bend it, because of the way that the steel is going to bend, it closes up that gap. That's the key, the secret in how to do this correctly, is getting the right amount of notch over before you cut that angle. So I wanted to point that out before I do it.